Jonty, first of all, welcome to Nepal. How has your experience so far in the Nepal and Pokhara?
Namaste, Nepal. It's so good to be back. I've been to Kathmandu, I've been to Pokhara on two different occasions before. So fantastic to be back here. Bit sad that it's short and sweet. So heading back to Mumbai and my family in Goa. So I'm not too far away. I'm based across the border for the next 5 months, but hoping to spend a lot more time working with the team.
बाजुपन सम्बन्धी कुनै पनि समस्या समाधानका लागि सम्झनुहोस् हार्दिक IVF and Fertility Center, Sinamangal, Kathmandu.
So you have been joined Pokhara Avengers as a mentor for the first season of NPL, and it's a 3-year contract. What made you choose this team especially, and what is the role of mentor?
Well, firstly, why Pokhara Avengers? I mean, I think it's when they get their cricket facilities up to scratch, it'll be one of the most picturesque cricket stadiums in the world. So I've been there before. I visited the stadium, the sports stadium there, and I think it has amazing potential. And I think that's a big part of the NPL, is that what we've seen with other franchise cricket, especially in India, the facilities have improved greatly because of franchise cricket. So hopefully, once season 2 comes along in the NPL and there's home and away matches, Pokhara can have a fantastic facility. So that's the first reason why I chose Pokhara Avengers. And then secondly as well, I mean, what does a mentor do? I think if you come in for a tournament as a coach and you try and change players' techniques, it's very difficult. Cricket is a game of habit. So that requires 2 months maybe or 3 months of changes, small changes every day. But as a mentor, the change you're looking for is here between the ears. And that's often the difference between a good player and a great player, is their approach and their mindset. So I think for me, it's about bringing my experience that I have, my expertise as a fielding coach, as a former player, but as somebody who's been in T20 cricket for the last 16 years with some of the best players in the world. So as a mentor, you want to give players options and advice.
First season of the NPL is looking to be one of the biggest cricket tournaments in the history of Nepal, with many foreign players. I think 32 foreign players. What are your expectations, and what can young Nepali cricketers learn from the tournament of this size and foreign players and coaches?
Well, I think that the key there, as you said, the number of foreign players that are coming here into Nepal for the NPL is so important, because for not just young players in Nepal, but even for the experienced players. The one thing with Nepal, the international team, they probably find, even though they're playing more international games, they're not getting a lot of international exposure. That doesn't mean you have to play for your country. You've now got players from the Caribbean, from Ireland, from Scotland, from the Netherlands. So good, strong associate member countries who are bringing their international experience into this environment. And I think that is so important for the future of the game. And it's not just the grassroots and the development and the young players. Some of the senior players can also pick up some really important information and valuable instruction from some of their teammates and some of their international coaches.
So you are not new to Nepal or Nepali cricket. What has changed since you were left here, and how has the level of cricket improved in Nepal in recent times?
Well, I think what has changed in recent times is the number of matches and international cricket that the national team is playing. And I think that's important. For a team to improve and become consistently good at an international level, they need more matches. And I think that's a real focus of CAN, is get cricket played internationally, both home and away, and especially at home. I mean, the TU Stadium is such an amazing atmosphere. There have been some great finishes in the recent past when it's been sort of last ball finishes, and the home crowd certainly is almost like the 12th man, you could say, here when Nepal are playing at TU at the University Stadium. So I think that's what we want to see. We want to see more international matches, but we want to see more sort of facilities brought up in Nepal. I think that's really important to ensure that we can support that.
So what is the goal of you and especially Pokhara Avengers teams, and how are you planning to achieve this thing?
Well, as a cricket player and as a coach and as a mentor and as an owner, I mean, all the shareholders with Pokhara Avengers, the one goal is to win the cup for sure. But I think what I'm trying to get a message across is that if you can improve yourself as a player every single day just by 1%, then you are winning. So regardless of the end result, regardless of the outcome, who wins the trophy, if you've improved over the sort of the 4 or 5 weeks that the tournament runs, or 6 weeks that the tournament runs, if you've improved as a player, then you really are winning, and more than just the trophy. So the key for me is that, can we leave Nepal cricket in a better state at the end of the tournament than it was at the start, then we are all winners. And I talk about us as we, Pokhara Avengers, all the teams that are playing, and even with the international players as well. Everybody needs to be at least, 20 or 30% better than they were at the start of the tournament.
So let's talk about Pokhara Avengers team. Do you feel your composition of foreign and Nepali player is balanced? Who are you looking forward to working with the most?
Well, I've never, obviously I haven't worked with any of these international players before. I think the key though is that having a balance of the team. At the university, the ground changes depending on the time of the day almost, and then as the season we get in, there's lots of cricket coming, so the surface will start with a bit of pace and bounce, and it will become a bit flatter. We know that throughout. So having good pace bowlers, obviously for the first part, but then relying on spin and players who are good at playing spin are going to be important for the balance of the team. And with regards, I don't know enough about the players individually yet, but I'm sure that there are some strong players. The key there is, can you get the players to play together? Because individually, sure, one player might win you a game, but to win the tournament, you need a strong team culture, and that's what we want to create at Pokhara Avengers.
Are there any particular strategy or any secret you are introducing to help Pokhara Avengers to win the trophy?
Well, I don't want to give all the secrets away, but I think the most important thing, and speaking to the younger players, I think there's a lot of respect here from the youngsters to the older players, and especially with the players who have international standing. The secret for me is that for these young players to unzip their mouth and actually ask questions and be a part of the conversation, because that's what we're here for. We're here to grow the players. And if we can get that, because you can't have just 11 international players, you need to rely on your local players, your domestic players, to come and win you games and make major contributions. And the only way they can do that is by, in fact, appreciating that they have a responsibility in the team and they have a worth to the team. You don't want too much respect. You want everybody to believe that they have a role within the side.
So how do you evaluate the local talent who are going to participate in the NPL, and what potential do you see for Nepali players on the global stage?
Well, I think I've worked with the Nepal under-19 team, the men's under-19. I've also worked with the women's, and that's also another important part of the game. We obviously want to grow cricket in Nepal so that it doesn't just benefit the national team or the young up-and-coming men of Nepal. We want to see the women's cricket grow as well. And the more cricket we bring into the country, the better the quality of international players that they see, the stronger the entire game is going to be. So I think from that point of view, that's what we're looking to see at the end of this tournament, that all of cricket in Nepal has got an injection in the arm and everybody's excited about where the future of the game is going in this beautiful country.
If given the opportunity, would you like to be involved in the long-term cricket development programs in Nepal in future?
I've worked with Paras Katka before, and he's had such an amazing career as a captain and as a player, and now he's kind of gone over to the hard side where there's lots of work and a lot of frustration as an administrator. But as a secretary here, I told him he's got my number, and I'm living across the boundary. Slightly further than a good six that he used to hit, because he could hit left and right-handed. That guy was incredible. But I think the talents that he had on the cricket field, he's certainly bringing into Cricket Association of Nepal. And I'm a friend of the game, and I want to see this game grow in whichever country I can make a difference. So he's got my number. I'm not too far away and hoping to be back here a lot more often in the future.
One last question. I have any message to Nepali cricket fans?
Yeah, I think what's important, we've seen how good they are supporting the national team. The difficulty is going to be, now that you've got a franchise league going, who are you going to support? And the fans in Nepal are shareholders and stakeholders in this incredible game. So they have a role to play. So no matter which team you're supporting, come down and make sure that the game is exciting. The spectators bring that atmosphere. The players love playing in front of a crowd that's very vocal and very loud. So come down, support not just your own team, support the game of cricket, because your support is important. Thank you.